Welcome back to the prequel series of Satisfactory, where we are going to do a tutorial/casual playthrough, which will eventually transition into a Megabase, hopefully. In the last episode, we managed to settle down here in the little oasis area at the outskirts of the Dune Desert, and we finished the first 4 hub upgrade milestones. And we are currently working at the 5th of the milestone upgrades, which means that we probably should consider getting another constructor, but we do need iron plates for that, so let's nab these. We need reinforced iron plates, I mean. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we need some screws for that. 24 to be exact. And then 2 of these. There we go. I also need some more iron rods. Okay, what we have to do here now is remove that power line, because the limitation of 4 items per power pole will make connecting a 5th one impossible. Let's build a constructor there and set it to make iron rods, and then we will just drag a power line from there to here, I guess, and then we'll connect that up to this one and to this one, and we'll set this thing to make iron rods. Yes, I've already done that. How many iron plates do we have? 51. Let's grab that stack and put it in here. Don't really need that many iron rods, but this stack of iron ore in there. Not sure if we need more copper ore currently, so I think we'll go grab some more iron ore from these portable miners, and we'll use both of the smelters to smelt iron ingots, because we do need a lot more iron plates and rods than we do wire and cable. So to change the recipe, you click select recipe, and then you select the one that you want to change to, and then you're good to go. It's thankfully not at all hard. We need to put more leaves in here, because we're burning through those as like crazy, which of course is to be expected. So, okay, that was interesting. Leaves back, sort and sort. I would like to get some more beryl nuts, because we are sorely lacking healing items currently. Of course, the beryl nuts are mostly out inside the desert area. The oasis here contains more pale berries, if there is much of consequence at all. Like here we have 3 pale berries, that's nice. But I'd like to avoid using those for healing currently, because we need the pale berries later on for research, and if I need more pale berries, I know they do regrow now, but if I need more pale berries, I'll have to go very, very far away to get them, so that's not going to be ideal at all. Let's just grab lots and lots of... Let's go get that slug, just so we have it. Thank you. Because the pale berries usually grow mostly in the forested areas, so I just assume that there's not a whole bunch of them here, even if we are in a very nice oasis area. Okay, now let's put these leaves and the slug and the pale berries and all the things we don't need into here. It would have been nice to have another constructor to make concrete, but for now I'll just manually craft that. I would pause the recording, but I don't think it's necessary to pause it for just this little amount of concrete. Might be a good idea to go out and put down another portable miner on that limestone node. But I think we're good. We will get the miners very soon, and when that comes, things will become much, much easier. There is no reason why we shouldn't just put conveyor belts between these two machines, because I want them to create things until they have a maximum allotment. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about power when it comes to the conveyor belts, which is very, very, very good, because that would be kind of a nightmare. Let's grab these, and let's also grab these plates. We needed 75 iron rods, so we do have enough. Then we need cable. For this, I'm going to pause the recording, because I need to make a bunch of wire and then a bunch of cable, so I'll be right back. Here we are. Oh, the stream deck actually worked. Brilliant. Okay, so I converted all of our copper ingots into wire, and then I crafted 80 cable. That should keep us in business. Let's do the hub upgrade 5. Boom.
Congratulations, you have unlocked Building Miner Mark 1. Building Storage Container. Hub feature Additional Biomass Burner. 10th objective, complete hub upgrade 6. Note, there are no notes.
Okay. Oh, that was just silly. Hub upgrade 6, let's set the milestone. We can actually complete that without doing the miners, but let's actually do the thing. We get a second biomass burner now. That's good. Let's stash this in there and grab 2 stacks of leaves. I think we can happily stack this one in there. And now we can put leaves in here, and we can top this up. Sort. Okay, now we need to be a little bit more... Let me just clear out some of this vegetation. This is in the way. We need to be a little bit more... I can't find the word. We need to think a bit more carefully, is what I mean, about how we do this. So we want to dismantle that power line. And then we want to add another power line here. And then let's connect... thank you. Let's connect both of these biomass burners to that, and then we connect that to that, which means that we now, if you go to a power pole, you can see our megawatt production and our megawatt capacity. So since we have a capacity of 40 megawatts, that... for the ones of you out there who are good at math, like I am, that is very much a pun because I'm not good at math at all. That means that each biomass generator really produces 20 megawatts. Well, yeah, there is something in here to burn, that is. So, the next thing we want to do now is run on over to the node here, and we want to just basically grab I'll pick these up, because we want to build a miner on this node now. So let's jump over these belts. And what do we need to build a miner Mark 1? Oh, we have everything we need to build a miner Mark 1. So note that the miner Mark 1 actually requires a portable miner. That goes for all the miners. You need a portable miner in the miner. As you can see, the portable miner is in there. Big chunky thing that does the actual mining. Let's place that like so. And for those of you who are familiar with my playstyle, I'm sure that you are highly amused by all of the spaghetti that this entails, because this is very, very spaghetti. And for those of you who are not familiar with the term spaghetti, it's a term that comes from, I think it comes from Factorio originally. It's basically a term that is used for describing when you have lots of crisscrossing belts everywhere. But back to the tutorial. So I want to place down this conveyor pole somewhere here, but that's not a good angle. So we want to use the mouse wheel down to turn that way, up to turn the other way. We want to use the mouse wheel so that we can turn the belt. Let's place it there. Then we will want to move around this tree. We don't want to clip. Clipping is bad. Triggers bad emotions. Good. Then we want to move over here. Could move that power pole, I suppose. As a matter of fact, I think we have to move that power pole. We do that. No, that's not at all the correct location. That's the entirely wrong power pole. I want to move up behind here, so we don't need to move the power pole. We put this here, and then we connect it up. Well, if we could afford it, we would connect it up. There we go. And we actually don't want to connect it up to that one. We want to connect it up to this one, because that's the one... Okay, game. I'll read the messages more closely the next time. Wait, did I... Yes, I can put these in there. So we want to connect that to this smelter. Now we have a belt that will carry ore from the miner over there into this smelter here. The spaghetti is real. How many nodes are used on this one? 3. Excellent. We can just connect it directly to the mine, actually. And then we can look at the mine, start mining. Here we go. Now, as the game progresses, you will get higher tier miners, so we'll get back to that. However, I mentioned that nodes are impure, normal, and pure. With a miner mark 1, a normal node will produce... Oh, sorry about that. That was just an alarm on my watch. A normal node will produce 60 of whatever you are mining per minute. I don't think there's any differences between the different ores. If you place a Mark 1 miner on an impure node, you will produce 30 per minute. And if you place it on a pure node, you will produce 120 per minute. So that's why I'm not too fond of the impure nodes, because early on in the game, they are very finicky, because you need several of them to actually get one belt. The Mark 1 conveyor belt, which we have here, if you go into logistics, you can see that this carries or transports up to 60 resources per minute. So if you want to saturate one belt, you need to have 60 items produced per minute. And while we do get splitters and mergers later on, especially at this part of the game, having an impure node is just annoying, because you want a full belt. If I had splitters, I would have split this up, because this is far too much for one. As you can see, one smelter requires 30 per minute. So if you just were to have this connected up to one smelter, an impure node would be fine. But this belt is actually sufficient to supply 2 smelters, which also is the intents and purposes of what we aim to do. Now this will produce 30 parts per minute of iron ingots, and if we go here, you can see that this will also spend 30 iron ingots per minute to create 20 iron plates. Let's grab those, and let's grab these. And we've basically now automated the iron part, which is important to automate. We could do the same with the wire, since we have a copper node. We could also do the same with the concrete, but I don't think that we need to go into that kind of detail, because I would rather just start automating everything. So let's move on over to the... oh, yeah, that's something I want to do. If you have... You probably don't see that. If you have your keyboard set to the United Kingdom keyboard layout, you can then click Ctrl-Shift-L on your keyboard, and then you click the tilde or paragraph key, which will open the console down there. And I like to do the rfog0 command. You can see how much clearer the world just became. So, because I don't like the fog at all. It's just an artificial thing that reduces visibility, and the world looks so much better without it. I wish it was a toggleable thing in the options. You could just toggle fog off. It's also fogging resources that the game has to generate fog. Then again, you could argue the opposite, that having to render everything at high quality would also be hogging resources. So I guess it's kind of a tit for tat thing. You get... yeah, I don't know what would actually be most beneficial in terms of actual performance, but to me the important part is I don't like the fog, so I disable it because it looks better without. So yeah, but I have at least instructed you on... oh, I've at least given you instructions for how you can do it. You have to be on the United Kingdom layout for some weird reason to open the console, at least if you have a European keyboard. Like I have a Norwegian keyboard layout, and I have to change to the United Kingdom keyboard layout to get access to the tilde key. Although otherwise the game doesn't register. I can still click Ctrl-Shift-L, but clicking the key just doesn't open the console thing. But enough about that. We do have the plates, we do have the rods, we do have the cable, and we do not have the concrete. So we have to go up to the limestone mine once more. Concrete is something that I'm going to be using massive amounts of. There are many ways to play Satisfactory, and that is a very important thing to talk about as well. You can play Satisfactory just about any way you want. Like, there is nothing that forces you to do what I like to do, which is to use foundations. You can build your bases however you feel looks good. So what I've built over there, the hub area, which I designate the Temple of Spaghetti, as the Lord of Tentacles, I probably should approve of that, now that I think about it. Oh well, can't have everything. So this is a perfectly legit way to build a base. I mean, you could extend on this and build spaghetti belts all over the place if you feel like doing that. As long as you're having fun, that's the only thing that matters. I prefer, however, to use the foundations, because the foundations make everything so much easier in terms of snapping things. You get a grid that the foundations have, so that you can have very structured and orderly bases, which I like that quite a bit. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. It's to plan out and do those kinds of planning and having straight angles and so forth. But you'll see how that is if you haven't already watched one of my previous series. You'll see how I like to build things, and there might also be some modifications to that, as I have picked up on another few tips from Wally in particular, which you should go watch his Satisfactory series, 105 episodes. I haven't watched it to the end yet. There's a lot of footage there, but He's a great presenter, very calm, very relaxed, and I really like watching his channel, so highly recommended. You will find him in the recommended channels section on my channel, or you can just search for Wally1169 and you will find him that way. Anyways, let's upgrade the hub to level 6. Big boom.
Congratulations, you have unlocked Building Space Elevator, Building Biomass Burner, Part Biomass. Motivational message. Congratulations, you succeeded in every provided task. On behalf of Fixit Incorporated, I thank you for your current and future service. Additional knowledge. The hub terminal has been converted to give access to milestones there to ensure you progress along Fixit-approved protocols. Note: future developments should be aimed at constructing the space elevator and, as such, initiating project assembly. Good luck.
The text didn't contain her good luck. But that's basically the intro done. Now we are at the point where you would be placed. Well, sans some resources. Then again, I probably have more resources because of these. Let's grab this and this so that we have those stacks. And let's also go over to this one and put these in there so that we get rid of them. So we have the biomass burner if we need more power, which I can assure you that we most certainly do. These provide 30 megawatts per second, and I'm not sure why the ones in here provide 20. Because they do provide 20, so these two provide 40 megawatts, whereas the regular biomass burner that you can place in the landscape will provide 30. I actually didn't know that, so that was interesting. We also now have access to building the space elevator. That thing is big, and it does require an extensive amount of resources. It's obviously a space elevator, so it has an anchor, which you see, the three arms there is the anchor of the cable going up into space. That's going to be a very important building. I haven't explained the craft bench yet. So the craft bench, you can build craft benches out in the wilderness. Basically just gives you the same ability to craft things as you can do inside of the hub itself. But they are very handy to just build and tear down again. Okay, let's see. Are there any other things that I want to share in this prequel? Let's build a couple of conveyor poles so I can show off another very useful feature. When you do deconstruct things, you can either deconstruct one at a time, or you can hold down control and just float over. Now all of them are marked for deconstruction. Or you can click control over each item you want to select for deconstruction. And when you deconstruct, whether you did it by clicking one on one item with control, or you did it by holding down and dragging over them, be careful with the dragging though, especially if you're in an area where you have lots of buildings, because you will mark items or buildings that you don't want to deconstruct. Because when you now click deconstruct, they all disappear, and yeah. So that's a very, very important part. I think there's a limitation to how many items you can deconstruct. At least there used to be, I think it was 50. Yeah, maximum dismantle limit 50. So you can dismantle 50 things at a time. So that's a very useful thing to know. You'll also get higher mark power poles. Usually when something says Mark 1, it means that it has an upgraded version. Get higher mark belts, which transports more resources per minute. And now we also have the storage container, actually. That's also a useful building, or actually not just useful, it's a completely, absolutely necessary building. If I were to build this there and I connect this up to there, this thing would just empty out until this is full of iron plates. Now, before I don't want to stay here specifically. What I want to do in the actual first episode of the actual series is to move our base. Oh, Hailberry. I want to move our base out here. I think this is a nice flat area for us to start the base in. We'll have access to the desert, and we'll have access to the vegetation in here. So what I've built in there will be torn down, and I will rebuild it out here for when we start the next episode. But let's go back to the hub. Because there is one final thing that is... Oh, deconstruct that. One final thing that is very, very, very important. And navigating pasta is difficult. Because now we have access to actually doing the real research, you want to call it that. Now we are at tier 1, so here you go with the foundations. This is a very, very important technology for me, because as I mentioned, and we just went out of power, I like to use foundations when I build my base. So this will probably be the very, very first technology that I research. And I think that I will get these items. No, I will not. I will not do anything except move our current buildings to where I want them to be. I probably won't even do that. I probably will wait with moving them until I have foundations, so that I can build foundations where I want us to have the actual base, and we'll take it from there. Also can research logistics, which will give us the splitters and mergers that I mentioned. And also it will give us conveyor lift Mark 1, which is used to transport items up and down. And we get the productivity display that enables us to see efficiency of each building. Field research will give us the MAM, or the molecular analysis machine, which is the building where we research things like the pale berries and the nuts, and we get all kinds of things from the MAM. It's a very, very, very important building. Probably more important than... maybe not as important, but it's definitely up there together with the research milestone building or unit that we're currently using. That'll also give us access to more inventory slots and an additional hand equipment slot, which will be very useful. And beacons, those will also come in very handy, and we get chests that we can put down on the ground that are not huge containers. They're basically the same thing, except they contain 5 more slots, but they take up a lot less space. In tier 2 we are going to get part assembly, which gives us the assembler, obstacle clearing, which gives us the chainsaw, which I'm going to be very happy with, jump pads, resource sync bonus program, and also the Mark II conveyor belts, the stackable conveyor poles, and the conveyor lift Mark II. Note that these transports up to 120 resources per minute, so that's where the pure node comes into question, because we don't get access to the Mark II miners until we have completed the space elevator phase 1. But we're going to get back to that in the series that is now upcoming after this prequel. If you have any questions or any comments, do feel free to please leave them in the comments, and I will do my very best to answer them, and I'm also sure that others will answer them. Also, I highly encourage you to join us in our Discord server, where Catherine of Sky, who is the master of Factorio and is currently also playing a Megabase, I think at least she's going to go into a Megabase 1.0 series of Factorio. Should definitely check that out as well. But yes, please come join us in our Discord. We have a dedicated channel for Satisfactory Chat and a lot of other chat channels. We have community game servers up and running at all times. We are waiting for the dedicated server for Satisfactory. When that comes, we will definitely have a community Satisfactory server up and running so that people can play together, because that would be awesome. But currently, at the time of this recording, we have Factorio. We always have Factorio. We have Minecraft, and we also have an upcoming Eco server, which will be launching sometime next week when Strange Loop Games releases Eco version 9, or the beta version 9. But for now, thank you all so much for joining me in this prequel tutorial series where we did the intro to Satisfactory. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will also follow the full series that will be launching very shortly after this prequel series. Bye for now!